Hey everybody, Alex Kazor, SteelersDepot.com to give you guys a Pittsburgh Steelers preview of their Week 11 matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Steelers, of course, come into this one still undefeated at 9-0, Jacksonville at 1-8. Here are some things to look for in today's game. Starting with the Jaguars offense, of course, they will be starting quarterback Jake Luton, the rookie from Oregon State, making his third career start of the season. And knowing that, of course, they're going to be relying pretty heavily on the ground game, the way that Dallas did with Garrett Gilbert and relying on Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard. And the run game has been pretty decent for them lately. They're relying on James Robinson, undrafted rookie free agent out of Illinois State, who's really doing well this year, has 7 touchdowns, fifth in the league in rushing. Really one of the more impressive rookies of the season, and they've been able to rely on the run game, stay on schedule, not have to throw late in the last couple of games because of the success of the run game. They played some competitive games and losses, but played the Texans tight, played Green Bay tight, almost beat the Packers, upset them last week. I believe that was at Lambeau too, so that's really uncommon for that game to be that close. But Robinson's a physical downhill runner. I think TJ Watt was talking today, said that Robinson in the second level doesn't really like to juke a whole lot. He just wants to run through you, and that is certainly his mentality and style, and he is for sure their future back, where he is just the dog on first and second down, and he's got 155 carries this year. In terms of healthy bodies, no other running back that'll be playing for Jacksonville on Sunday has had a single carry all season long. So he is kind of the definition of a feature back, although he had not been playing as much in passing situations on third down. Those duties were going to Chris Thompson, the former Washington player, but he's now on IR. So could the Steelers exploit some of that on third down with some more inside linebacker blitzes? Vince Williams, of course, very good at it, and Robert Spillane can do it as well. Has a sack this season. That would be something to watch for. But Jacksonville, power run scheme, gap runs, a decent offensive line. It's not great, but better than Dallas's, better than the Bengals, and I think they're doing a pretty good job of finding an identity offensively. And with their pass game, I mean, it is not a great pass game. Obviously, there aren't any giant, known household names. Jake Luton is a rookie, still finding his way in the NFL, of course. But they have a lot of speed at receiver, and Luton's got a good arm. And on his second career pass attempt against Houston, he threw a 73-yard touchdown to DJ Chark, and they got three really speedy receivers in Chark, who ran 4.34 coming out of LSU. They got Chris Conley, former Kansas City Chief, who ran 4.35 coming out of Georgia, and Keelan Cole. I don't think his time speed was great. He was a 4.5 kind of guy, but he's a big play guy. He had a 91-yard punt return for a touchdown in last week's game against Green Bay. One reason why that game was so close. And so he's a guy that can get vertical and create big plays. All three of those guys, Chark, Conley, and Cole, are averaging over 12 yards per catch this year. And so they can take a top off a defense. And Pittsburgh, unfortunately, has had some miscommunication issues and coverage busts have kind of popped up almost every single week. And if they bust the coverage, T. Higgins went for 54 against them last week. If Chark or Conley or Cole catches one of those wide open, he's going to house that. They're going to house that. They're not going to get caught the way that T. Higgins did. So you got to be on your P's and Q's and not let Jacksonville not only have a run game, but then work play action off of that and then go with some vertical shots downfield. I really think that the best path for Jacksonville to win this one is by creating some big chunks downfield. Even if they run the football well, and there's a chance that they would, I don't think that's enough to win this game because Baltimore ran it well, Dallas ran it well, Cincinnati ran it decently well as well, and none of that was enough to win those games. But Jacksonville, for them to win, they of course have to run the football effectively. If they can't run it effectively, then they really don't have a shot to win this one. But if they can couple that with some vertical shots downfield, some big chunk plays, 50-plus yard touchdowns, that's their path to victory. So you got to be tight over the top, maybe some more two man, but you want to roll down the safety as well, so you're stopping the run. So it's a balance there, but don't give up the big play in the passing game. Contain those speedy receivers. That's got to be the key. Defensively for Jacksonville, there's some talent in the secondary, but they're just a really beat up team right now. They have some key injuries. CJ Henderson, their impressive rookie, top 10 guy, I believe, out of Florida, the cornerback. He's on IR. Sidney Jones, the cornerback, he's questionable as of this recording. This is being recorded on Friday night, so I don't know his status, but he's kind of revived his career after not really working out in Philadelphia, a former second round pick. He's got 2 picks and a forced fumble this year, but if those guys aren't available to go, then they're going to be in a really tight spot. And unfortunately for them, the pass rush has not really helped much up front. They have 9 sacks this season, nine as an entire defense. That's lowest in football, fewest in football. So the lack of a pass rush combined with secondary that's going to have some injuries certainly makes them ripe for the picking to go vertical. It's kind of a similar plan they had against the Bengals last week, where you were able to get the deep ball and some more medium to intermediate throws downfield working better than in weeks prior. So that's got to be the approach here for the run game. I would keep it simple. I'm going straight ahead. I'm not trying to run too much on the perimeter. They got some good athletic, fast flow linebackers in Miles Jack and Joe Schobert, who's their middle linebacker. He's got 72 tackles this year to lead the team. Steeler fans know him well from his days at Cleveland, where he's really had some good games against Pittsburgh in the past. So for me to get this running game back on track, you're just trying to fall forward. You're trying to avoid the negativity that Randy Fietner talked about. Get James Conner going forward, fall heads 3, 4 yards. I think you'll have you can run on them. You know, Jacksonville's not a great run defense, but they're not terrible either. So I'm not trying to be too cute about it. I'm not using as much shit motion because Jacksonville, they're pretty disciplined. They don't, get caught up in all that window dressing and stuff. And I probably wouldn't get the ball in the perimeter a whole lot, especially with Connor, because he probably is not going to be able to get to the edge on some of these guys, especially someone like Miles Jack. So go with some leap plays, get downhill, fall forward, stay on schedule good enough. I will take 3, 4 yards and sacrifice the chance for a big 30-yard run if I can just stay on schedule with the run game. So overall, my prediction for this one, while Steelers and Jags games over the past couple years have been close, and Jacksonville always seems to be a thorn in the Steelers side, going back to the days of Rashawn Mathis and David Garrard and Jimmy Smith, Fred Taylor, and guys like that, to more recent years where they've had some upsets, including the 2017 divisional game. I'm going with Pittsburgh in this one, 29-13. Kind of an oddball score. I think a couple field goals get kicked in this one. Jags actually have a top 10 red zone defense, so maybe that holds Pittsburgh to a few field goals. I just have to deal with some of the pressure packages they're going to draw up, and certainly don't turn the football over and do all those detailed things that could cost you a game. Be solid on special teams, which Jacksonville had a big punt return touchdown last week, so something to consider. But overall, Jacksonville's defense has not been great. Their injuries are compounding the problem. They're not getting any sort of pass rush. The Steelers, for their woes in the run game, they protected Ben extremely well. Not been sacked in 104 dropbacks for him. He hasn't been sacked in 3 of his last 4 games, just twice over the last month in total, facing the defense in football that is getting as little pressure as anyone. Probably going to be a good combination. Probably can run some man beaters to beat some of their backup cornerbacks that are in the game. A very similar story as we had against Cincinnati and then Dallas. So that's the way I envision this one, 29-13 Steelers over Jacksonville. That would, of course, put the Steelers at 10-0 and a chance to really almost not technically, mathematically lock up the division. But basically, if they can win this game, and they beat Jacksonville or they beat Baltimore on Thanksgiving, I mean, there'll be a path for Cleveland or even not even for Baltimore. I think that would eliminate Baltimore from winning the North, but maybe Cleveland could still mathematically have a chance. But if you beat Jacksonville and Baltimore and you're sitting at 11-0, you're almost guaranteed to win the North. And then it really just becomes a matter of can you get that one seed and hold off Kansas City. And that'll be tough to do, but certainly that'll be the focus, the focal point and the focus for the Pittsburgh Steelers season. But I don't want to look ahead. Of course, you want to focus on Jacksonville. No guarantees. We've had upsets in the past and really close games. So I think it'll be a relatively competitive game, and Jacksonville certainly cannot underestimate that group. But that's my prediction. Steelers winning this one 29-13. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What is your score prediction for this game? Do you agree or disagree with my assessment of what to expect on Sunday? As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.